The clock struck midnight in the dimly lit corner of Emery's backyard party, and without warning, I leaned in and kissed her. Her lips tasted like the strawberry wine we'd been sipping all night, soft and yielding at first, then pulling away with a gasp that echoed louder than the fireworks bursting overhead. In that split second, as her eyes widened in shock and the world around us blurred, I knew I'd crossed a line that could never be redrawn. Our secret had just become public property, and the fallout would rip through our lives like a hurricane. My heart pounded as I pulled back, searching Emery's face for any sign of reciprocation. She stood frozen, her pixie-cut blonde hair tousled by the summer breeze, those piercing blue eyes darting toward the cluster of family members laughing by the grill. "Margaret, what the hell?" she whispered, her voice a mix of fear and something deeper, something that mirrored the turmoil churning inside me. I'd loved her for years, this best friend who'd been my anchor through college chaos and family dramas, but admitting it now, in front of her conservative relatives, felt like jumping off a cliff without a parachute. Inside my head, thoughts raced like wildfire. Why did I do that? Was it the alcohol loosening my inhibitions, or the pent-up frustration from hiding who I was? Emery and I had shared stolen glances and late-night confessions for months, whispering about our feelings in the safety of her apartment, away from prying eyes. But her family, God, her family. Her parents were pillars of the local church community in suburban Atlanta, the kind who hosted Bible studies and volunteered at anti-LGBT rallies without a second thought. I'd seen the way her father preached about traditional values during holiday dinners, his words slicing through the air like knives. And now I'd forced her hand, exposed us both to their judgment. What if this destroys her? What if it destroys us? Emery grabbed my arm, pulling me toward the shadows behind the oak tree. "Not here," she hissed, her grip tight enough to bruise. Her voice trembled, not with anger, but with the weight of decision she'd been avoiding. I followed, my mind screaming at me to apologize, to take it back, but my heart refused. This was real. Our connection wasn't some fleeting crush. It was the kind of love that made colors brighter, that turned ordinary days into adventures. We'd met in freshman year at Emory University, bonding over shared majors in psychology and late-night study sessions that evolved into something more. Emory, with her sharp wit and unyielding loyalty, had become my everything. But she was terrified of coming out, haunted by stories of cousins disowned and friends ostracized. As we huddled in the dark, the party noise faded to a distant hum. "Margaret, my uncle saw us," she said, her words laced with panic. "He's the one who funds my tuition, the one who calls every week to check in. If he tells my parents..." Her voice trailed off and I could see the mental calculations in her eyes, the scholarships at risk, the family gatherings she'd be exiled from, the life she'd built on a foundation of lies. I wanted to scream that it was worth it, that love like ours deserved to be free, but doubt crept in. Was I being selfish? Had I pushed her into this abyss without considering the cost? The next morning my phone buzzed incessantly as I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling of my tiny apartment in Decatur. Texts from mutual friends flooded in. "What happened last night? Are you two?" But the one from Emory hit like a gut punch. "We need to talk. Now." I drove to her place, my mind a whirlwind of regrets and justifications. Why couldn't I have waited? Society's gaze felt heavier than ever. The subtle stares at pride parades, the news stories about hate crimes, the way my own parents back in Chicago tiptoed around my face. I'd come out to them 2 years ago, and while they hadn't disowned me, their disappointment lingered like a shadow. Emory opened the door, her face pale and drawn. "Come in," she said flatly, leading me to the living room where we'd shared so many secrets. She paced, her leather jacket from last night discarded on the couch, revealing a simple tank top that hugged her frame. "Uncle Robert called my dad this morning. He saw the kiss, Margaret. He thinks it's unnatural, that I'm being influenced by bad company." Her words stung, implying I was the villain in this narrative. Inside, I battled the urge to defend myself. How dare he? But deeper, I questioned if she blamed me too. Had our love been a fantasy I'd imposed on her? We sat across from each other, the silence thick with unspoken accusations. "I didn't mean to out you," I finally said, my voice cracking. "But Emory, we've been hiding for too long. Don't you want this to be real?" She looked away, tears welling. "Real? In what world, Margaret? My family would cut me off. I'd lose everything, my home, my future. Is that what you want? Her words pierced my soul, forcing me to confront the privilege I'd ignored. My family was liberal enough to accept me, but hers? They viewed love like ours as a sin, a choice to be corrected. As the argument escalated, Emery's phone rang, her mother. She answered, her voice shifting to a cheerful facade. Yes, Mom, everything's fine. Just a party mishap. Hanging up, she turned to me with resolve. We have to deny it. Say it was a dare, a joke. My heart sank. Deny us? After all the nights we'd whispered promises? But looking into her eyes, I saw the fear. The internal war between love and survival. Was forcing her to choose fair? Or was I the one betraying her by demanding authenticity at any cost? The days blurred into a tense standoff. I threw myself into work at the local bookstore, stacking shelves to distract from the ache. Thoughts plagued me. What if she's right? Society's not ready for us. News headlines flashed in my mind. Bills restricting gay rights, protests turning violent. Emery texted sporadically, her messages laced with apologies and pleas for time. But time felt like an enemy, eroding the foundation we built. Then came the family intervention. Emery invited me over under the pretense of reconciliation, but as I walked in, her parents and uncle sat sternly on the couch. We need to talk about last night, her father said, his voice booming. Uncle Robert nodded, his eyes narrowing at me like I was a disease. Emery stood beside them, avoiding my gaze. Betrayal hit like a wave. Had she set this up? My mind screamed run, but my feet stayed planted, ready to fight for us. You've corrupted her, Uncle Robert accused, his words dripping with disdain. This lifestyle isn't natural. I wanted to retort, to explain that love isn't a choice, but Emery's silence spoke volumes. She wasn't defending us. Inside, my world cracked. Was this the price of my impulsiveness? As accusations flew, I realized the depth of her fear. She'd choose family over me, safety over truth. By the end of the confrontation, tears streamed down my face. Emery, say something, I begged. She finally spoke, her voice barely audible. It was a mistake. Those words shattered me, confirming my worst fears. I'd lost her, not to society, but to her own internalized shame. Driving home, questions tormented me. Was loving her worth this pain? Or had I been blind to the reality she faced? The aftermath of that intervention lingered like a bad dream I couldn't wake from. I avoided Emery's calls for a week, burying myself in therapy sessions where I dissected every moment. Why did she betray me? I asked my counselor, the words tasting bitter. Deep down I knew it wasn't betrayal, it was survival. Emery had grown up in a household where deviation from the norm meant exile. Her mother's subtle comments about proper ladies, and her father's rants against the agenda had conditioned her to hide. But understanding didn't erase the hurt. It amplified it, making me question if our love was ever equal. One evening, as rain pounded against my window, Emery showed up unannounced. She stood drenched on my doorstep, her blue eyes red-rimmed. Let me in, please, she pleaded. I hesitated, my heart warring with my pride, but I stepped aside. We sat on the floor, backs against the couch, the space between us a chasm. I didn't mean what I said, she whispered. I panicked. Uncle Robert threatened to pull my funding if I didn't straighten out. Her confession unlocked something in me. Anger at the system, at families who wielded love as a weapon. Inside my head, thoughts collided. How could I forgive her? Yet, seeing her vulnerability, the way she trembled, reminded me why I fell for her. Emery wasn't weak. She was trapped in a web of expectations. We'd shared dreams of a future together, traveling, building a life free from judgment. But now those dreams felt tainted. What do we do? I asked, my voice soft. She reached for my hand, her touch electric. Fight. But quietly for now. Quietly. The word grated. I'd spent years suppressing myself. Was I willing to do it again for her? Our reconciliation was tentative, marked by stolen moments in hidden cafes and late-night drives. But tension simmered beneath the surface. Emery's family ramped up their scrutiny, inviting her to church events and setting her up on blind dates with nice boys. She recounted one over coffee, her laughter forced. He was boring, talked about stocks all night. I smiled, but jealousy gnawed at me. Was she considering it? The thought fueled my insecurities, making me push harder for commitment. One night, during a heated argument in her car, parked in an empty lot, everything boiled over. "Why won't you stand up to them?" I demanded. Emery's eyes flashed. "Because it's not that simple, Margaret. You have supportive parents, I don't. If I come out, I'll be homeless." Her words hit home, forcing me to confront my privilege. I'd assumed our love could conquer all, but reality was messier. Society's prejudices weren't abstract, they were in her living room, in the laws that barely protected us. As weeks passed, Emery began therapy too, grappling with her identity. "I love you," she confessed one session aftermath, "but I'm scared of losing everything." Her honesty was a double-edged sword, relieving yet painful. I encouraged her, but doubt crept in. Was I enabling her denial? Friends noticed the strain. My roommate pulled me aside. "You're miserable. Is she worth it?" The question haunted me. Love demanded sacrifice, but how much? Then came the betrayal that cut deepest. I discovered Emery had confided in her cousin, a devout family member, seeking advice. But the cousin twisted her words, spreading rumors that I was pressuring her into a sinful lifestyle. Whispers reached me through mutual acquaintances, painting me as the aggressor. Hurt turned to rage. How could she trust them over me? Confronting her, tears flowed. "I needed someone who understands my world," she said. "You don't get the pressure." That night, alone in bed, my mind raced with what-ifs. What if I walked away? The thought terrified me, but staying meant constant battles. Society's weight pressed down, the media's portrayal of lesbians as rebels or tragedies, the subtle discrimination at work. I'd lost a promotion once, suspecting my orientation played a role. Emery faced worse. Her internship at a conservative firm hung in the balance. We decided on a break, a painful pause to reflect. Days turned to weeks without her, each one a reminder of our void. I threw myself into activism, volunteering at a local LGBTQ center, channeling pain into purpose. There, I met others with similar stories, women torn between love and family. It validated my struggles but highlighted the ethical dilemma. Was pushing Emery moral or coercive? Emery reached out eventually, her message simple: "I miss you." We met in a park, the same one where we'd first admitted our feelings. She looked different, stronger perhaps. "I've told my parents," she said, her voice steady. Shock rippled through me. "What?" She nodded. "Not everything, but that I'm questioning." Uncle Robert exploded, "But Mom." She listened. Hope flickered, but caution tempered it. Was this real progress or another layer of deception? As we talked, layers peeled away. Emery admitted her fears stemmed from childhood traumas, witnessing a gay relative shunned. "I don't want that for us," she said. I shared my own wounds, the rejection from extended family. For the first time, vulnerability bridged our gap. But as we embraced, a new conflict loomed. Her family's ultimatum. "They want me to choose," she whispered. The words hung heavy, forcing us to weigh love against legacy. In the following days, pressure mounted. Uncle Robert called me directly, his tone menacing. "Stay away from her. You're ruining her life." His audacity fueled my defiance, but it also sowed seeds of doubt. Was I? Emery wavered, torn between us. One evening, she arrived at my door with a suitcase. "I'm staying here," she declared. Elation surged, but reality intruded. Her parents cut her off financially. The sacrifice was immense, testing our bond. As we navigated cohabitation, small cracks appeared. Bills piled up. Stress amplified arguments. "This is what you wanted," she snapped once. Guilt consumed me. Had my kiss set this in motion? Inner monologues tortured. Love should liberate, not burden. Yet seeing her resilience, adapting to a part-time job, inspired me. We were building something authentic, but at what cost? Living together brought a fragile peace, but the shadows of our past decisions loomed large. Emery's job at a coffee shop barely covered rent, and I picked up extra shifts, our days a blur of exhaustion and whispered affections. Inside, I battled guilt. Had my impulsiveness forced this hardship? Emery assured me no, but her eyes told another story, flickering with resentment during late-night talks. "I miss my family," she admitted one evening, staring at the ceiling. The confession stung. reminding me that love couldn't erase blood ties. Society's undercurrents amplified our struggles. At work, colleagues whispered about the lesbian couple, their judgments subtle but cutting. Emery faced outright hostility from former friends, texts accusing her of turning her back on God. We attended support groups, sharing stories that mirrored ours, women disowned, relationships fractured by prejudice. It bonded us but also highlighted the moral quagmires. Was hiding ever justifiable? Or did authenticity demand full exposure regardless of pain? A turning point came when Emery's mother reached out. A tentative lunch invitation, just the three of us. Hope warred with caution as we drove to the diner. Mrs. Hayes sat rigidly, her face a mask of restraint. "I don't understand," she said after awkward small talk. "But you're my daughter." Emery's hand trembled under the table, squeezing mine. For a moment reconciliation seemed possible. But then came the conditions. No public displays. And therapy to fix this. Fix. The word ignited fury in me. Was our love a defect? Emery nodded meekly, desperate for connection. Driving home I exploded. "You're agreeing to that? To pretend?" She defended. "It's a start. Better than nothing." The argument escalated, unearthing deeper rifts. I accused her of cowardice. She called me insensitive. That night she slept on the couch, the distance physical and emotional. My mind swirled. Am I pushing too hard? Love required compromise, but where was the line between support and erasure? Weeks later, betrayal struck again, this time from my side. Overwhelmed, I confided in a friend from the center, venting about Emery's hesitations. Word got back. Twisted into "Margaret thinks you're weak." Emery confronted me, hurt etched on her face. "How could you?" she cried. Shame flooded me. I'd become what I despised, a betrayer seeking validation. We spent days in tense silence, each grappling with trust's fragility. Rebuilding was arduous. We established rules. No outside venting, full honesty. But external pressures persisted. Uncle Robert escalated, filing a complaint at Emery's old internship, citing moral concerns. She lost references, job prospects dimming. "This is the price," she said bitterly. I offered to confront him, but she refused, fearing escalation. Inside, I questioned our path. Was love worth professional ruin? A high-stakes decision loomed when Emery received an ultimatum from her father: return home and repent, or be cut off permanently. She agonized, pacing our apartment. What if I go back just to appease them? The suggestion horrified me. Pretend to be straight? Date men? Felt like a death sentence for us. "You'd be lying to yourself," I argued. Tears fell as she replied. "But I'd have security. A future." The words exposed our divide, her pragmatism versus my idealism. In the depths of that night, alone while she visited a friend, I reflected on my role. My kiss had catalyzed this, but was it wrong? Society forced such choices, pitting love against survival. I realized my demands might be unethical, ignoring her cultural binds. When she returned, we talked till dawn. "I choose you," she decided, her voice resolute. Elation mixed with fear. The cost was steep. But peace was short-lived. At a pride event we attended covertly, a family acquaintance spotted us. Photos circulated, reaching her parents. The backlash was swift. Disinvitations to holidays, silent treatments. Emery crumbled, depression setting in. I supported her through therapy, but guilt gnawed. Had I dragged her into this abyss? As she recovered, a new conflict arose. My family's visit. They'd accepted me, but meeting Emery tested boundaries. Dinner was awkward. My mother probed gently. "Is this serious?" Emery shone, but later confessed anxiety. What if they judged me too? Her vulnerability humanized her struggles, reminding me love was messy, fraught with ethical dilemmas. Then the ultimate test, Emery's cousin's wedding. Invited reluctantly, we debated attending. "It's a chance to show we're normal," she said. I agreed warily. At the venue, tensions peaked. Uncle Robert cornered us, spewing vitriol. "You're disgusting." Emery stood tall, defending us for the first time. "No, uncle. Love isn't disgusting." Pride swelled in me, but the scene caused a rift. Her parents sided with him, escorting us out. Humiliated, we drove home in silence. That night Emery broke. Maybe they're right. Maybe this is too hard. Doubt infected me. Was persisting selfish? We weighed options: move away, cut ties. But roots ran deep. Abandoning family felt like betrayal. In the following months we sought balance. Emery reconciled partially with her mother, setting boundaries. Progress was slow, marked by setbacks. A job offer in New York tempted her. A fresh start, but alone. Come with me, she urged. The choice loomed. Uproot my life or lose her. Inner turmoil raged. Sacrifice for love or prioritize self. The New York opportunity crystallized our crossroads. Emery's eyes lit with excitement as she described the position. A counseling role at an LGBTQ nonprofit, ironic given her past denials. It's perfect, she said. But relocating meant leaving my job, friends, everything familiar. Inside I wrestled. Was this her escape or ours? Love demanded adaptation, but at what personal cost? We debated endlessly. You'd thrive there, I admitted, but resentment simmered. Why her dream over mine? She sensed it, pulling back. If you don't want to, I won't go. Her self-sacrifice mirrored mine, highlighting the cycle of concessions. Society's role loomed large. In a more accepting world, such choices wouldn't exist. But here, every step forward extracted a toll. A visit from my parents complicated matters. They adored Emery, urging us forward. Life's too short for regrets, my mom said. Their support contrasted sharply with Emery's family, fueling her envy. Why can't mine be like that? She whispered later. It exposed inequities, my easier path versus her battles. Guilt resurfaced. Had I minimized her pain? As the deadline approached, tension peaked. An argument erupted over dinner. You're holding me back, she accused. Stung, I retorted. And you're running away. Words hung heavy, eroding trust. That night, separate beds amplified isolation. My mind churned. Is love sustainable amid constant compromise? Reconciliation came via a heartfelt letter Emery wrote. I love you enough to stay, it read. Tears flowed as I realized her depth, willing to forego dreams for us. But was that fair? I encouraged her to accept, deciding to follow. We'll build new, I said. Packing symbolized rebirth, but doubts lingered. What if resentment festers? The move was chaotic, goodbyes bittersweet. Emery's mother called, offering reluctant well wishes. Be safe, she said, a crack in the armor. Uncle Robert remained silent, his absence a relief. In New York, our apartment was cramped, but freedom invigorated. No hiding. Hand-holding in public felt revolutionary. Yet adaptation brought new conflicts. Emery thrived at work, but I struggled finding employment. Isolation bred insecurity. You're distant, she noted. Truth was, I missed home, questioning our haste. Inner monologues tormented. Did I sacrifice too much? Love's price seemed endless. A betrayal from the past resurfaced when Emery's cousin contacted her, apologizing for the rumors. I was wrong, she said. Emery forgave quickly, inviting dialogue. Jealousy flared. Why them over our peace? Family matters, she explained. The response irked, reopening wounds. Was blood thicker than our bond? Confrontation followed. You're letting them back in, I argued. She countered. Forgiveness heals. The ethical divide yawned, my grudges versus her grace. Therapy helped unpacking traumas. Emery admitted internalized homophobia lingered, fueling her vacillations. I confessed control issues stemming from fear of loss. As we navigated, a social crisis hit. A colleague outed Emery at a family-linked event, sparking backlash. Her father emailed vitriol. You've chosen sin. Devastated, she withdrew. Supporting her, I realized love's resilience, weathering storms together. Recovery brought intimacy, but a new dilemma. Children. Emery dreamed of adoption. I hesitated, fearing societal hurdles. Discussions revealed moral quandaries, bringing kids into prejudice? We can protect them, she insisted. Doubt persisted. Were we equipped? High drama unfolded at a reunion Emery attended alone. Uncle Robert ambushed her with conversion pamphlets. She returned furious, cutting ties definitively. No more, she declared. Pride swelled, but sorrow tinged it, the loss permanent. Our life stabilized, but undercurrents remained. A promotion for me eased finances, But Emery's work exposed her to stories mirroring ours, triggering doubts. "What if we end up like them, broken?" she confided. Reassurance came hard, my own fears echoed. In quiet moments I reflected on our journey, from that midnight kiss to this. Sacrifices defined us. Emery's family, my stability. Was it worth it? The question lingered, fueling growth. New York's rhythm became our soundtrack, a cacophony of possibilities and pitfalls. Emery's role at the nonprofit flourished, her passion for advocacy igniting change. I landed a position at a progressive bookstore, surrounding myself with stories of resilience. Yet, beneath the surface, fractures persisted, subtle arguments over finances, lingering resentments from past betrayals. "We made it," she'd say, but her eyes betrayed uncertainty, mirroring my own internal storms. One crisp autumn evening, a call shattered our fragile equilibrium. Emery's mother, voice frail. "Your father's ill. Come home." The invitation was laced with conditions, no mention of me. Emery agonized, pacing our living room. "I have to go," she decided. "Alone?" The implication stung, rekindling old insecurities. "What about us?" I asked. She hesitated. "It's complicated." Complicated, the word that defined our love, a shield for painful choices. As she packed, my mind raced with scenarios. Reconciliation pulling her back, family pressures eroding our bond. "Promise you'll return," I begged. She nodded, but doubt clouded her eyes. Watching her leave, abandonment fears surged. Had all our sacrifices led to this separation by circumstance? Days without her dragged, filled with anxious texts and sleepless nights. She updated sporadically. "Dad's stable, but talks are tense." Then silence. Panic set in. Was she succumbing? I volunteered more at the center, channeling energy into others' stories, but it amplified my isolation. Inner turmoil peaked. Love required trust, but history taught caution. When she returned, changed, subdued, reflective. "They want me to visit more," she said. "Without you at first." The ultimatum felt like a knife. "Choose," I demanded. Tears flowed as she confessed. "I don't know." The admission cracked us open, exposing raw vulnerabilities. She'd faced their pleas, their tears, questioning her path. Arguments ensued, voices raised in our tiny space. "You're regressing," I accused. She retorted. "You're forcing an all or nothing." The ethical bind tightened. Was reconciliation with family betrayal to our identity? Society offered no easy answers. Media glorified coming outs, but ignored aftermaths. In therapy, we unpacked Emery's guilt over her father's health, my fear of loss. Progress was incremental, boundaries redrawn. She committed to including me eventually, but patience tested me. "Love isn't possession," the counselor said. The words resonated, challenging my grip. A pivotal moment came during a protest. Rights under threat again. Side by side, chanting solidarity reignited our fire. "This is why we fight," Emery said, her hand in mine. But post-event reality intruded. A job threat for her, linked to family influence. Resilience waned. She considered compromising. The climax built when Uncle Robert visited unexpectedly. In our apartment, he offered help. Funds if she reconsidered. Outraged, I intervened. "Leave." Emery stood firm. "I'm happy here." His departure marked victory, but exhaustion followed. "Is this endless?" she whispered. As winter set in, we reflected on costs. Lost connections, scarred psyches. Yet growth emerged, stronger, more authentic. Emery reconnected with her mother on her terms, sharing our life gradually. Acceptance trickled, imperfect but real. In quiet reflection, I pondered our saga. The kiss that sparked chaos, decisions fraught with pain. Love triumphed, but at great expense. Was the journey justified? Was it right to pursue love despite the devastating toll on family bonds and personal security?